Hey there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nina. I am a transformation coach, spiritualist, CEO of Empress Incarnated, free spirit, healer, all the things. Thank you guys for being here with me. Today's video is really special, and it's something that I like to talk about because this is what I do in my work, in my practice. Before I get started, if you all are interested in this content and like my channel, feel free to subscribe below. Also hit the notification bell so that you get notified anytime that I do a new video. Today's video is going to be about toxic positivity. Toxic positivity is the idea that in order to live a better life, you should always be positive, regardless of what it is that you're going through, regardless of what it is that you're feeling, that you should always be positive. Now, there are going to be some people watching this that's like, okay, well, what's wrong with that, right? How could that be toxic? Well, we're going to go into a couple of things, including a universal law, and really explain how this can be harmful instead of helpful. So when we think about being positive all of the time, we have to think about it in terms of polarity. If you don't know what polarity is, I have tons of videos on Patreon that go into polarity and what that means. However, for the sake of this video, I'll go over it very quickly. We live in a world of polarity, and polarity talks about two opposites or two opposing sides. So think of like a sliding scale, okay? And on one side we have one opposite, and on the other side we have the other. So we have, for example, good and bad, or good and evil. We have dark and light, okay? We have happy and sad. So these are opposites, and these are representative of what we call a polarity. And now when we think of the polarity of happy and sad, if we are always happy, so we're always on this side of the scale, and we're always pushing towards this side of the scale, we're never truly allowing ourselves to feel anything on this end of the scale. The reason why that is toxic, or why that can become a toxic way of thinking, is because now we're limiting our experience as humans to one side of that scale. When we incarnate into human bodies, we come here to experience the range of emotions. If you have ever seen the scale of emotions, you would know that at the top of that scale, I'll do it this way, at the top of that scale is happiness, joy, contentment, all of those things. At the bottom, we have anger, resentment, guilt, all the way at the bottom, right? So if we take that and we flip it this way, if you can imagine with me, now we have our scale, right, of happiness or joy and contentment, and guilt and sadness and suffering and all those things. If we're never allowing ourselves to feel the things on this end of the scale, and only being on this end of the scale, happiness, positivity, love, light, what we're doing is we're limiting our experience as a human to actually be able to embody and fully feel what it is to be on this end of the scale. Because in order to fully understand and feel what's on this end of the scale, we would need contrast. That is why we live in a world of polarity. And I go deeper into this in my Patreon videos. But because we are on this side all the time with our love and light, we're never actually able to experience what the fullness of that love and light is, because we've never given ourselves the opportunity to be in the dark. If you've never experienced the dark, you won't appreciate the light. If you've never experienced a rainy day, you'd never be able to fully appreciate a sunny one. If it's always sunny, all the time, you'll never actually be able to appreciate it, because it will just be the norm. So what happens when we are always positivity, love and light, positivity, love and light above everything? What we're doing is, instead of being on this end, we're actually pushing this end into the middle, because now this becomes a status quo. So now we can never truly understand what's over here, even though we are over here, but we've made it our middle point. So now we can never truly understand and fully embody the full scale, because we don't have contrast. Contrast is necessary for us to really understand both ends of that scale. And once we've fully been able to understand both ends of that scale, we can make our normal state of being that middle point, that peace point. Because if you're at any end of the scale, you are now allowing yourself room and space to be, or to move into the other end of the scale, because there's not balance. Think of the scales of Libra, the sign, right? Or just the scales of justice. When one is up, at some point eventually it's going to have to be balanced out and balanced out until we're here in the middle. That's when we have true balance. So if you take that same concept and apply it to the scale, if you're always over here, now you have the possibility to go all the way back here. If you're always over here, now you have the possibility to go all the way back here. But when you're in the middle, it's balanced. And just like the scales, it's not going to tip anymore because it's balanced. So if you make the middle your status quo, then you allow yourself the range to go here and here whenever you need to, but this is where you always come back to, the middle. Not this end or this end, because those are still unbalanced. So when we talk about toxic positivity and how it is not helpful, it doesn't allow you to honor your space, your emotions, where you are. It doesn't allow you to honor it. It's putting on a mask of happiness and positivity, even when everything within your being is telling you that that's not the case. And we don't honor it out of fear. We don't honor those feelings out of fear. But what does that do? That creates a mask, a false self. And if we live long enough in this mask, we actually start to believe it. And not only that, we show others to believe that as well. And then it's a cycle that's perpetuated. So the reason why I don't associate my work with just love and light is because exploring the darkness is how I got to my light. My Patreon videos go much deeper into light and dark and the, law of rhythm and all of the universal laws. Honoring where you're at is what we need to start doing instead of just trying to be positive all the time. And with that honoring of where you're at, you are able to allow the feelings to pass through you. These feelings are not you. You allow them to pass through you. And you don't end up with what we call an energetic blockage. But if you are here saying, no, I'm happy, I'm not sad, I'm happy, no, I'm not sad, I'm happy, and you're lying to yourself and others by wearing this mask of happiness when that's not how you feel, what ends up happening is, instead of that feeling passing through you, it now gets blocked. It now gets stopped. It's now not able to pass through you because you have not honored it. So when you are being positive all the time, your feelings that you're feeling at that time, anger, sadness, depression, whatever, it gets blocked. It causes a blockage in your energetic field because you have not honored it and you have not allowed it to pass through you as it should. We go into this way deeper on Patreon. So if you are not a patron, consider subscribing. I have everything linked below, but we go so much deeper into the esoteric knowledge, into the universal laws, and really into what it means to allow yourself to honor your feelings. And I really hope to see you there. If not, this is where we end, and I do hope to see you again soon on the channel. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this content. I look forward to seeing you again soon, and be blessed.